deflected? Is it stenography? Is it just plain untrue? On the Media helps you decode the news. We reveal the process behind the story because there's sometimes as much to be learned from the gathering as from the news itself. Please join us.
Saturday mornings at 7 on KSJE, Farmington. This program is supported by San Juan Health Partners Urology, providing a wide range of personalized services for the whole family, including children. Our caring professionals are dedicated to helping meet your urology health needs with skill, experience, and service you need. For a complete listing of our services and to learn more, visit sanjuanhealthpartners.com or call 505-609-6300. San Juan Health Partners Urology, a division of San Juan Regional Medical Center. 11 minutes past 8 o'clock. It's Friday morning, March the 1st, and good morning, everyone, from KSJE 90.9 FM, the information and cultural beacon of the Four Corners, broadcasting from San Juan College. Hi, everybody. I'm Scott Michlin. I'm sitting here in our visual radio studios at San Juan College, and welcome aboard those of you who are watching us live today on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. We're glad to have you along with us. Coming up in just a moment, my guest from the San Juan County C.A.S.A program. That, of course, is Court-Appointed Special Advocate. We'll be telling you how you can get involved with the C.A.S.A program. There's some training coming up very soon, and they are always in need of more volunteers to help children who've been victims of abuse or neglect in San Juan County. So we'll be talking about that and more coming up in just a moment here on KSJE. Then we hope you'll stay tuned, of course. The program will be in two segments on our visual radio platforms this morning, and then later on, about 8:50, I'll be joined by the one and only Wally D from Wally D Sports. He comes in on Fridays to set me straight on prep sports and what to be aware of from this past week's action, and also what to look ahead for next week. And so Wally D will be joining me here in our studio at 8:50 this morning on KSJE. At 9 o'clock, Mick Hess, of course, will take us roving with the arts as he does on Fridays. He is playing some Broadway music for us after the news at 9 o'clock. So beginning at 9:06 on the radio, you'll be hearing music from the Broadway musical Seventh Heaven. That is coming up today on Roving with the Arts here on KSJE. Today at noon, it is our Friday Spotlight program, and a special program today talking about the Four Corners visit of comedian Kyle C.A.S.A, but he's much more than a comedian. We'll be talking with Teresa Carson about what Kyle is bringing to the Four Corners, what message he is bringing coming up during his appearance in Durango in March. That's later on, just in a couple of weeks, as a matter of fact, now that we're in the month of March. So I hope you'll tune in and check that out today at noon on KSJE. And then, of course, at 12:30, don't forget about our storytelling program. We produce that in cooperation with our partners at the Farmington Public Library. And that, of course, is Cuentos, Hana, and Tales. Some great stories for the kids in your family coming your way today at 12:30 on KSJE. And you can always check out our programming schedule anytime by going to our website to see what we have planned and what's coming up on the radio. Just go to our website and check out our schedule at ksje.com. That's also where you'll find our regional events calendar. We work very hard to provide a lot of connections to events that are going on not just in San Juan County, but throughout the region. And so we hope you will check that out when you're looking for something to do. Farmington Cinematheque presenting the movie Indian Horse later on tonight here at San Juan College. March 14th at the San Juan College Pi Day Mathematics Festival here at San Juan College. At the Farmington Public Library, the Seuss Slumber Party today, and also the opening exhibit for flamenco is happening tonight at the Farmington Museum. So that is just some of the events you'll find on our regional events calendar when you check it out at ksje.com. Program. A special good morning to our viewers who are watching us on the KSJE Facebook page and YouTube channel. Welcome aboard, everybody. My guests in the studio with me this morning are from the C.A.S.A program here in San Juan County. That's Court-Appointed Special Advocate. C.A.S.A Advocate Coach Keba Gorman is here. Good morning. Thanks for being here.
Yes, good morning.
Also joining us here in the studio is Becky Adams, a volunteer supervisor. Becky, good morning to you.
Good morning, Scott.
And joining us also is Ashley Lovato, the CASA intern, who is going to school at New Mexico Highlands University. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you all for coming in this morning to talk about CASA, which as I mentioned, is the court advocate program. And Kebba, let's talk to you because, again, coming up shortly in April is the latest CASA training. So folks want to get involved. This is the time to consider doing it, right?
Yes, the sooner the better. If you'd like to sign up and would like to meet with us, we ask that you reach out to us so we can have a first interview and us just try to get to know you and to see the different facts that you know about CASA and what interests you in our program. So the sooner you reach out, the sooner we can get the process started.
Right, and a lot of folks may have heard us talking about CASA before or heard it being talked about in the community, and so remind us again what the role of a CASA volunteer is.
So a CASA, of course, like you said, is a court-appointed special advocate. We are a trained advocate to advocate for a child who's in the system for an abuse and neglect.
Got it. And to be a volunteer, I need to be 18?
You would have to be 21.
21.
Yes.
I always miss that part.
Yes.
Thank you.
So 21 years old, you have to pass a background check. So that's why we encourage you to come early so we can get the background started. There is the whole training that starts on April 2nd is a whole 6 days. And they're evening trainings and one Saturday. And it's a total of 30 hours. And on top of that, once you've completed, it's 5 hours of court observation.
Okay, and that's what's all involved to get started.
To get started, yes.
Right. And then, Becky Adams, let me ask you a little bit about the volunteers when they do get started, because you ask them to kind of make a commitment, right, to being a volunteer and seeing their cases through if they're able to?
Yes, we ask them to commit to 1 year of serving as an advocate. Some of our cases go on longer than that, but at least that gives some stability for the children that are involved in the case. And we ask that they be able to volunteer about 8 to 10 hours a month. On an average, that's about what it would take to be a volunteer.
And those volunteer hours can be visiting with the child, visiting with the family, or doing some court things. It just depends on what's going on with that case, I suppose.
Yes, that includes visiting, like you said, with the child in its placement, visiting with parents, foster parents, visiting with teachers.
Right.
Because educational advocacy is a big part of our advocacy for the child. Then we include writing court reports and then attending the court hearings.
Right. And those court hearings are scheduled fairly in advance, months in advance or weeks in advance, I would think, aren't they? So you can kind of schedule around those types of things if you are committing yourself to being a volunteer?
Yes. We have, in fact, right now, we have part of them that are scheduled up into August.
Okay.
That we know about. Of course, there's always those occasions where they might be alteration in scheduling to either move a hearing or a meeting up or back, but we try to let the volunteer know as soon as possible, and that way hopefully they can make those meetings, and if not, a supervisor is always attending.
Right. Got it. And Kevin, talk to me a little bit about the volunteers. Again, we mentioned 21 years or older, but it could be anybody that wants to really help these children, and these children could be any age as well, correct?
Yes. So, of course, we can deal with a child who is a newborn all the way up to 18. So it varies, and some people, after you complete your training, we do ask what your preference is. If you feel like you are connected to an older child, maybe a preteen or a teenager, we definitely try to pair, or else if they're younger, but of course, we just don't know what the situation could be, and so we definitely ask everybody to be opened, but we do try our best to try to pair, and we give our volunteers the opportunity to actually review the case before they're actually assigned to make sure that they're comfortable with taking it. So that's also another kind of a match.
Right. Because you kind of want that to stick, don't you? You really don't want to have to reassign a child with another volunteer if it's not a good match from the beginning, and so you try to fix that from the start.
Right, yeah. We definitely don't want to be that swinging door. The CASAs are there to, of course, be that one person that the child can always count on. So definitely somebody who is very committed and wants to make a difference. Those are the volunteers we'd like to have, because, you know, we don't want our child to be disappointed. There's a lot of disappointments that they have to grow up and endure. So the less that we have to be part of it, the better.
Right, indeed. And we talked a little bit about the 1-year commitment, but many times these court cases may go longer than a year, and many times I imagine your volunteers want to stay on longer than the year to see the case through, and that's their option, I suppose, is it not?
Yes. Yeah, so of course a lot of times what happens is the relationship builds, and unfortunately, yeah, that we have cases that do go longer. We've had cases that have gone 2, 3, 4, 5 years. It
Right.
just happens. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. So, I mean, it is their choice, and we like to have them, and they're usually fairly good about understanding, and they do stay committed. So, and if we ever have burnouts and stuff, that's what us CASA staff is there for, to help with remotivation, anything that we could do to step in to help, any meetings, that we could be part of visits with them, just to give them some ideas how to continue interacting. So we definitely are a support to them.
Right. And I know a lot of folks who consider being a CASA volunteer maybe get a little intimidated by the whole court thing and appearing in court and being this advocate for the child, but that's what the training is all about, right? To give these volunteers the tools that they need to take over this very important job.
Yes. So we are very fortunate as well, because of a lot of our presenters are everybody that we see in the court system, like the respondent attorneys, the general Deb, the county manager of CYFD.
Right, okay.
She's there. Placements, they're all there. So they're all the GALs. Everybody who we see in the court is actually part of our training to make presentations. So the CASAs are able to kind of get to meet them and see what their roles are. So they definitely don't feel uncomfortable, because they have seen everybody at that time. And so when they enter the courtroom, it still is intensive, but it's not. They see everybody, so it's a little bit of an ease.
Sure, exactly, and that's what we're talking about. Let me turn to Ashley Lovato, who's the intern at CASA from New Mexico Highlands, and I know we talked to you in the fall, Ashley, right, about your experiences with CASA and some of your coursework, and this must work really well with what you're studying at New Mexico Highlands, correct?
Correct. I'm also a CASA volunteer as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I have my own case. So.
Right. And so how's it been so far? I know you can't talk specifically about the case, but is it everything that you were expecting it to be with the training, and that was helpful for you?
Yes, it is. The training did prepare me for my CASA case.
Right. And so your semester is coming up. You mentioned you'll be graduating in May, I suppose, right?
Correct.
So congratulations.
Thank you.
And so what will be next after that? Will you hope to continue being a CASA volunteer or being an intern?
I am going to continue with my CASA case and continue with the CASA volunteer, and I'm looking forward to applying for my master's degree in social work with New Mexico Highlands as well.
Very, very good. And so as an intern, what were some of the things that you were doing? That wasn't part of your CASA volunteering, that was separate, was it not?
Yes, it is.
Gotcha.
I would attend the family center meetings and treatment team meetings. I'd also help with just filing and
Intern stuff.
Yes.
Right. But important intern stuff, I
Yes.
would imagine, to keep the office rolling and keep it working. So
Knowledgeable stuff.
Exactly, and things you can learn from, right?
Yeah.
And that's great. And you have kind of that educational component, because I know you've offered service learning credit
Yeah.
for students here at San Juan College. You could also take advantage of this too, correct?
Yes. So if you are interested, we do reach out to San Juan College students who need service learning hours. The opportunity is to attend any of our sessions at pre-service training. All we ask is that the student give us a call, so that way we can kind of have them come to our office and review their paperwork, see how many hours are needed, and also decide which day they're going to attend, so that way we can actually know how many people are going to be present on the day of the presentations, and so we have enough handouts, enough seatings, and also just to kind of hear their feedback as to, would they like to pursue C.A.S.A even further at that point too.
Right, right. And the training, of course, for anyone else interested in being a C.A.S.A volunteer will start on April the 2nd, correct?
Yes. And this year we actually changed locations.
Okay.
Last fall we were at San Juan United Way conference room. We are actually changing. We are moving over to the Riverstone Church. The address is 808 North Monterey Avenue, and that's in Farmington, of course. In
Farmington, right. Very good. And it'll give you a little more information on 808 North Monterey Avenue in Farmington, the Riverstone Church, and that gives you a little more room maybe to spread out and have your trainings?
Yes. Yes, Becky is very fortunate. She's the one that got it organized for us, so it's just a lot more room and less noise, and I mean the other was great, but we were just growing out of it, which is a great great
problem to have, I suppose, if you're growing, right? That means you're getting a lot more volunteers.
We are. We get a lot of more volunteers, and also a lot of other people coming to our trainings to actually get professional training.
Great.
So we definitely open it up if we have the room, and so now this is just going to give everybody the more opportunities.
Terrific. And again, I think we were talking before we came on the air this morning that your C.A.S.A volunteers and your cases is about above 90%, is it not, of the number of people you'll be able to assign to a C.A.S.A volunteer?
Yes, we are about 96%.
96%.
Yeah, so, but of course that can always change.
Sure, with new cases coming through, I suppose. That's true.
Yes, we never know. So we could be 96 and lower, or you could be at 100%, and we just don't know. So,
right.
That's why it's always important to continue recruiting for anybody who wants to be part of our program.
Well, that's true. And anything less than 100%, I'm not a math guy, but I know that means there's still some children that don't get the volunteer that they need for their advocacy.
Yes.
And that's been what this program is all about since its very beginnings, is to have, I know the child has someone in court that represents them, but the advocate is someone even more so to advocate on their behalf throughout all the processes and the court system, correct?
Yes, we definitely are there to be a support, to make sure that they're, of course, just like their GALs. Their GALs are actually the others that are with them in court. That's the attorney for the youth. That's
the guardian ad litem. Is that the name? See, I've learned something from our interviews over the years.
Yes. So C.A.S.A, of course, is just to visit in placement, make sure that they're comfortable, make sure everything is going well for them. If there's anything that we can help comfort or support them in our advocate side of things, we definitely do so. So, I mean, that's our part, is to just make them feel comfortable and give the attention that they truly, are seeking for.
Exactly, that's true. And Becky, let me ask you too about these reports that the volunteers are making, because I know they spend time doing that, and the judges appreciate that insight, do they not? Because it gives them a little additional perspective of what's going on for that child.
Yes, we are able to paint a picture of where the child is, how they are doing in their placement, and also be able to recommend whether perhaps the parents are ready for them to return home or not, how even the parents are doing on their treatment plan or their case plan. So this is one of the major things that the volunteer does, is writing that report to the court. The supervisor is there to help, though. We always, especially on the first court report for the volunteer for this case, we meet with them and we kind of prepare that court report together. But the judges always appreciate that, and they love the pictures of the children also. We usually try to provide that so that they can put a face to the child's name and to their situation.
Right. And I know the judges appreciate that, right? They definitely do.
Yes, and they do. They read the reports. They ask us about the information in it sometimes. They talk about the recommendations, and those recommendations that we make are part of the court hearing that day. They are put on the record. And the judge usually asks, okay, have all your recommendations been satisfied? So they do listen to those court reports.
Right. Very good. My guest this morning from the C.A.S.A program here in San Juan County, that's Court-Appointed Special Advocate. We are talking about the need for more C.A.S.A volunteers, and the training is coming up. Gosh, it's just a little over a month away here as we talk on the 1st of March on this Friday morning. And so let's take a short break, and when we come back, more with my guests in just a moment right here on KSJE.
Cybersecurity is still really